Well, hello, all my beautiful peeps, my friends. How are y'all doing today? Today I'm going to do I think I've already unboxed this, so I'm not going to do like an unboxing. Yeah, I already have. But we're going to just take it apart and start working on it. So technically it's a whip and chat. So anyway, first of all, let me tell you hello. And if you're new here, hello and welcome. I'm so glad that you are here. If you're not subscribed and you would like to, subscribe, it doesn't cost you anything, but it does keep you updated as to when I post new videos and stuff like that. When I go live, those sorts of things. So if you'd like to do that, that would be awesome. And if you're not new, this isn't your first time here, well, hello, my friends. Welcome back. I'm so glad that you are here and decided to come see me again. I appreciate it. I really do. So here's the instructions on the kit. So I'm going to set those over there. The welcome thing, all of that. I'm going to just throw this down here because I need to bring a trash bag up here. And of course, I'm working on this little cottage, home sweet home house. It lights up. Here's the doohickey, the little electric candle, battery-powered candle. I'll have to put a battery in it. It takes one of those little watch batteries, and I do have some, so not a problem. This is going to be the base, and this is, let's see, windows, obviously, and this is going to be the roof. So, and I don't know why here lately, my whip and chats, I've been working on, just, well, small things, off the canvas things, and I've really enjoyed it. I'm going to continue on with this pen, I think, because I like it, and, I get used to using one thing, and I just don't switch, and I probably should, because I got enough pens to do so. And then I saw Butterfly Effectwares showed their pen that they're going to be releasing on this Sunday, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to have to set my alarms. I really like it, and I don't need another pen. Do not. And but I'm like, oh, but I really like that one. So we'll see. We'll see. If I end up getting it, if I have an opportunity to buy one of the minis that I like, then I will. If I do not, then I shan't. I did go look at their website because sometimes they, pens don't sell and they have some left over. And they did have some left over, but I'm pretty sure they've gone up in price. So I don't know. We'll just see how much these end up being because, although they're beautiful, not going to argue with that. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. But, it's just kind of what I feel like I can afford right now. So, anyway, I'm going to get this all sorted and situated. Really don't even need to do this because I'm not kidding up. These don't even have DMCs or symbols. You just go by what's on the bag. So I don't see any reason. In fact, I think these are all numbers. All numbers, I guess. So yeah, they're all numbers. So that's easy enough, right? I guess I could have put these in alphabetical, numerical order. So today is Monday, and I don't really have a normal day to do whip and chats. Honestly, it just turns out to be whatever day, it is. So, but today is Monday, and I don't know that I've ever done one on Monday. So, all right, we're going to start with this number 2. All right, no jokesters out there now. Okay, I think I'm going to need some static guard, but we're going to see. We are going to see real fast. Uh-oh, there's one of my hairs. Got my hair done on Saturday. Again, something else I never do, but I did, so that worked out well, and I really like it. And I have a friend who's my hairstylist. Well, she started out as my hairstylist, and then she became my friend. And I've been going to her for 30 years. But, you know, traffic is such a beast, and, you know, it's, to get to her shop from here is about 30 minutes. Getting home will be even worse. And it's like, God, I just don't know. You know, I just don't know that I want to go through all of that. So I feel bad, you know, because I rarely change. But now I think what I want to do is, because I haven't had a mani-pedi since August. Since before I put my house on the market. Whenever I was having to get ready to put my house on the market. And just had too much to do, and just like I just can't take that time out. I mean, you're looking at 2+ hours, you know, for travel time and getting my nails and my toes did. So, yeah. So I'm going to try to find a place over here closer, and I think I'd like to get back into doing that. So, because it felt really good to go in and get my hair done. It costs more than what I'm used to paying, but I mean, when he washed my hair, I was like, dude, my hair hasn't been this clean since my grandmother washed it when I was 9, you know, but it felt so good. You know, it was a cross between, man, that's really too hard, and it was like, that feels great. So, yeah, the shampoo alone took, I don't know, seemed like it took a while, but probably took, I don't know, maybe 8-9 minutes, maybe 10. And I loved every minute of it. So, yeah. So, anyway, and, you know, the type of hair that I have, it's, you know, I don't have any kind of, you know, I'm not doing color. I'm not doing a perm. I'm not, you know, I'm just, it's like, just cut it, you know. It's nothing fancy or anything like that. So, I don't have to go in, but well, this time I hadn't had my hair cut in probably over a year, maybe longer. I don't know, but about a year, I'd say, for sure. So, yeah. Now, I don't think I'll wait as long for my next haircut. I mean, I may go maybe maybe I'll go every 3 months, maybe. Heck, if I was wealthy, I'd go every week, because that's how often I wash my hair. I'd go every week and let them wash it and blow dry it. But, yeah. Every once in a while, I'll do that, though. Every once in a while, I will, it's like I just don't want to wash my hair, you know? It takes a lot, you know? It's just it's an ordeal, you know, just to wash it and then to blow dry it. You know, it's just an ordeal. And they can blow dry it so much better than me. So, you know, I may do that again. Especially with my shoulder being bum. I know y'all tired of hearing about it. I'm tired of talking about it, honestly. But yesterday was Easter, and that was nice. We went to my daughter's house and my son's, and well, and my one son that's single and my other son. I hate calling her his girlfriend because they are so much more than that. But they're not, you know, like they didn't get married in front of a judge or a priest or anything like that. But I definitely think by Texas law, they are common law. They share everything. So I think that's probably the way that works. And anyway, she was there, and I hadn't seen her in a while because it seemed like every time we get together for lunch or something, you know, it is during the week. And used to, she worked from home a lot, so she could get away for an hour to go eat lunch with us. But she's been so busy at work. You know, the company got bought out. They gave her more responsibilities. They put her in charge of some national stuff and then some global stuff. And of course the global stuff is like, oh my gosh, you know, right now. So, yeah. So I don't know. But it was good to see her. I hadn't seen her in a while. And she's just a sweetheart. Now I thought about just continuing on with this to get all the pieces, but I don't want to. I want to do one piece at a time because that way, so like I've taken all the plastic off of this, so I really want to finish it, you know, before, oh dear, before I move on to something else. And I don't want to have all of these uncovered. So, boy, I just feel like that's going to get spilled. Okay, let's see. Where's the foils? Right here. Come on. Let's see, what else is new? Oh my goodness, it rained so much this morning. The worst of it, though, didn't bother us, so that's good. I know my daughter was trying to get my son-in-law to the airport, and it was flooded. And then he got to the airport, and his flight was delayed 3.5 hours because of weather delays. But I saw on Facebook where he finally got off the ground, so that was good. But yeah, but now, clear blue skies. But it's supposed to rain all week, so we shall see. But this morning, it was crazy. It was like, you know, at noon, looked like midnight outside. It was crazy. But then I was like, well, let's not go anywhere to go eat. Let's just eat at home. And so I made some biscuits and some gravy and some bacon and hash browns and scrambled eggs. I like scrambled eggs when I make biscuits and gravy. To me, they just go together. So that's what I did. Of course, like always, I made way too much gravy. I never judged that very well, but that's okay. I also have plenty of leftover biscuits, which are fine. I like leftover biscuits. I didn't save the gravy. I was going to save some, not all of it, but I was going to save some because I was like, that will be my dinner. And then I was like, you know, I think I just would like biscuits. I love biscuits, and just biscuits with butter would be good. So, yeah. Here I go yawning. There's got to be a scientific thing about that, because if I wasn't talking to y'all, I would not be yawning. So there's got to be a scientific thing. I'm sure there is. If you know, let me know. Do you do that when you're talking a lot? I don't know. So anyway, let's see. Did not buy anything on the Saturday release. Not because I didn't like anything. I did. But it just didn't, there wasn't anything that, you know, that met my criteria in that. If it sold out and I couldn't ever get it, would I be absolutely bummed and trying to find it on a D-stash? And I couldn't say that to anything. So I was like, nope, then just, because, you know, I'll just wait. I'll just wait. And, yeah. Trying to save some money, like everybody else, probably. You know? So, yeah. We're supposed to meet with a landscaper on Friday to go over plans. And I'm sure I'll fall over with sticker shock. But we'll see. We shall see. I need to get serious about listing some stuff on D-Stash. But I don't know how I want to do it. I think I'm just going to stick with Macari, I think. Because then I don't have to worry about... What I don't like about using Macari is I know I can do shipping cheaper than what they charge. And they charge the consumer, and I get that. I mean, well, you know, I get that. They charge the buyer. So, but, you know, I'm like... Because if I'm buying something, I'm looking at the total price. Not just the cost of the item. I'm looking at the shipping price, too. And I factor all that in. And... So sometimes it's like, no, I mean, no, I'm not going to pay that. But with Pirate Ship, I can ship it cheaper than what Macari can, but that's not an option. I mean, that's not an option because it kind of goes with their protection plan. You know, you have to use who you know, when you start to make the listing, you have to pick who you're going to use. And, you know, so there's really no getting around it. And if you I guess if you tried to not do it that way, then it would come back to haunt you because, you know, part of their whole buyer protection plan includes the fact that, well, you shipped it using one of their, you know, methods, and you have a tracking number, you know, all of that stuff. Whereas if I said, okay, you know, we'll do this behind the scenes or whatever, then nobody's protected. Not me, not the buyer, you know. So, I don't know. I know that's probably not the way to go. But if I try to sell, let's say, on Facebook, you know, on the D-Stash groups and stuff, well, then you have to take PayPal goods and services. That's the only way you can be a part of the group. And maybe I just need to learn more about it, how it works. I don't know. But I've never had good luck with PayPal, so I'm afraid I would sell something and then I wouldn't get reimbursed. You know, I wouldn't get my money. So I don't know. But, you know, I don't want anybody to be like, oh, you must be a scammer because you don't take... Well, like I said, I think if you don't take it, then you get banned from the group. So, and I get that too, you know. You know, they're trying to cut down on people, scamming people. And trust me, they have had scammers come across through there, believe it or not. And they're just trying to cut down on that, and I don't blame them. You know, somebody come in and go, yeah, you know, you can have all of these for $20, you know, and then that $20 is not, you may think, man, that's a great deal. And then you find out it is if you actually get something. And then those people never actually turn around and ship anything. So, you know, they can't have that. You know, they don't want that to be a group of scammers. And I totally get that. It's not that I don't understand. I do. And I thought about the same thing. You know, I thought, well, I could do it on my channel. But, you know, I don't want to get scammed. And I don't want anybody to think they might get scammed. You know? So, I don't know. But I guess... I mean, I know there are other payment methods. Like I have Venmo, but I've only used Venmo to pay people. I've never gotten money from Venmo. So, I don't know how that works. I might have just as much trouble getting my money from Venmo. I don't know, though, because a lot of people use it. Like I used to use it to pay for my nail appointments. So, I don't know. So, I don't know. What do y'all think? What saith you? I don't know. Let's see, what else has been going on? Saw Jacob today. He came over to, been seeing him a lot lately, which I love. But he came over to check out his dad's mini split in the garage because he's thinking about getting one, or he wants one for his garage. So he's going to get it insulated, get his garage insulated. He had a company come out to give him a bid on insulating his garage, and they were like, oh no, your garage doors are already insulated. No, no, they're not. They're not insulated. It's like, okay, you either don't know what you're doing, or you just don't want to do it, which just say we don't do garage doors would be the most effective thing to say, because you actually don't, I mean, I guess you could insulate them yourself, you know, take regular doors and insulate them, but you generally, for something nice, is you buy the insulated garage doors and have them installed, because, you know, you've got to make sure that, you know, everything still, like an insulated door, it's going to weigh more than an uninsulated door. So your springs and stuff need to make sure that they're beefy enough. So you got to have someone else do that. So I gave him the name of a company that I like for garage doors. So we shall see. We shall see. But he's wanting to, and he said over here trying to find the HOA documents, like, do I need to get approval for that? And I was like, if it were me, you know, I wouldn't. It's not like you're painting your brick, or, you know, you're doing something very obvious, you know, but, you know, I think they just want their $25 for the application fee. But I said, you know, do it however, you know, it's probably the mature way to do it is to get approval. But I did tell him, you know, because he's wanting to extend his patio and whatnot. I said, yeah, that's in your backyard. And I said, I didn't ask for any permission in my backyard. You know, because it was just a blank slate, and I extended my patio. I added pavers, added a flagstone walkway, put trees in. I was like, yeah, I didn't ask anybody for permission, because it was like, why would I do that? I'm not hurting anybody. Nobody can see it from the street. So yeah, but I was like, no, definitely don't waste your money on that. But he wants a man door to his garage. All he has is it's a 3-car garage, but he has no man door. And he was like, every time I go in and out of my garage, I have to use my, you know, the garage door opener. And I was like, yeah, I know, you hate using that, because every time you open it and close it, I mean, you are putting more wear and tear on your, you know, your opener and stuff. But I was like, dude, that's going to be expensive, putting a door in through a brick wall. But, you know, I said, but you can find out, you know. And he's got, you know, when we bought our houses, it came with extra bricks. He gave some of his away, but he said he still has enough. I said, okay, because when they bust through, they're going to mess up some bricks, you know. And bricks are hard to match up. Even if you get the same name and everything, first of all, a lot of them get discontinued, but even if you got lucky and you didn't, you know, and you found somebody who still makes those bricks, the dye lot's going to be different, and it won't quite match. So, yeah. But I'm hoping he gets a new patio, because then he can take my Weber grill, because I am not going to use it. And I've used it, I don't know, once I know of. I may have used it twice, but I don't think so. I think I've only used it once. And I paid like $400 for it, so I don't want to just get rid of it. But at the same time, it's, you know, I mean, I would give it to Jacob. I don't want to have to try to sell it and stuff. I don't want to do that. I don't trust the marketplace, to be real honest with you. I know I have put stuff on the marketplace, but I ended up mostly just doing free things, you know, everything free because, and it was just in my neighborhood because I was like, you never know who's coming to your house, you know, and then I always wonder about the people who are like, I would love this, send me your address, I'll be on my way, and you send them your address, and then you don't hear anymore. It's like, why did you want my address? Now you got my address, you know? But anyway. I don't know. You ever be working and all of a sudden, you know, because I'm doing all these ones and now just for a split second, my brain went, are you sure that's the right number? And I was like, I had to look over. Yes, it is the right number. But does your brain ever do that to you? Are you sure you're doing it right? Well, not 100%. So I always have to pause and look because there have been times when I was wrong and I was doing the wrong one. That's probably why I think like that, because I've done it more than once. And oh, what a hassle it is to remove ones that once they've been down, it's just so hard. It's a hassle is what it is. It's not, you know, impossible or anything. You just use some tweezers, but it's a hassle. So let's see. What else have I been up to? I just ramble. I go in all sorts of directions. Yesterday, I was in charge of making deviled eggs for our Easter get-together, so I did that. And then I also just got a whim and made some blueberry muffins that turned out really, really good. It was a new recipe, and it's definitely a keeper. It has streusel on top, which was delicious. And I think I'm going to use that same streusel recipe for when I make apple cinnamon bread. I think that would be good on top of that. Yeah, and I ate a blueberry muffin just a little bit ago as a little snacky-do, and it was delicious. Haven't made any, well, I take that back. I have made some bread, but not sourdough. It was a yeast bread, and here in the States, we've got a restaurant called Saltgrass. I don't even know if it's in all the United States, but it's a Tillman Fertitta who owns Landry's. And it's called Saltgrass Steakhouse. It used to be a lot better than it is now, but it's still pretty good. But one of the favorite things there is their Shiner Bock beer bread. And it was so good, so good. So I did make that, and with the honey butter, it's got, of course, butter, and sweetened condensed milk, and quite a bit of honey. So it's pretty sweet, but it's so good. So I made plenty of that. And then, if you've ever been to Texas Roadhouse, I'm pretty sure it's not a Texas-only place, but they have amazing rolls, too. I mean, they are so good. I found a recipe, a copycat, of course, for those. And I'm going to try to make those and see how those turn out. And then there is a place in Missouri. I think they've got a couple near Branson. Oh, what's the name of that place? They throw the rolls at you. It's home of the throwed rolls. So I know some of y'all know. So let me know. I feel like it's right on the tip of my tongue, but I can't remember it. Anyway, I'm going to have to remember it. So please let me know if you know which one I'm talking about. And I want to duplicate or try to duplicate their rolls. Their rolls are really, really good. And I love that place. I wish they had one here. As far as I know, there's only those two in Missouri, but there may be more. I don't know. What is the name of them? Oh, gosh. They're very popular. And honestly, the thing I like to eat there the most is their side dishes. The ones that they bring around for free. You know, they come around, you know, you order your entree or whatever, but there's these people walking around, and one of them is their German fried potatoes. Oh my gosh, it's like, just give me that. I want to just eat that and some rolls and butter. That's all I need. That's all I need. Oh, and some fried okra. I do like their fried okra too. But their catfish, their fried cat. I've gotten their fried. I've gotten their fried catfish and their fried chicken, and they're okay. They're not the best, but they're good. Good enough. You know, maybe I should branch out more and try other things, but I don't live there, so that's just, you know, what I've gotten when I've visited. Yeah, there's also another place over there. It's right by that place with the throwed rolls. Oh, gosh, what's it called? It's like Big Something. And when I tell you their pancakes are like this size, I'm not joking you. They're huge. Their food, so good. So good. I mean, it was like, oh. And I think I had ordered, excuse me, like, I don't know, I guess I got a breakfast with biscuits and gravy and hash browns, and they were absolutely divine. And of course, I had to also have the pancake. And the pancake was divine. And of course, I had no extra room, but it was one of those cases of like, I don't want to quit eating, you know? I don't want to quit eating. And so I was like boxing everything up. We're on a road trip, you know? Max like, what are you going to do? I'm like, I don't know. But I know as soon as I leave here, I'm going to be like, I want some of that pancake. And it kind of reminded me of my pancakes in that they're sweet and they're fried in butter, which is the way I fix mine. But it was so good. I can't remember the name of it either. It's like Dwayne's? I don't remember. That's one thing I like about traveling is trying new places to eat. I mean, that's really the whole thing. It's like every time we go, wherever we go, even if we're just looking for a quick bite, I'll put in, you know, the best thing to eat and then where I am. And you get some, you know, pretty good recommendations. But sometimes you get Subway, and I'm like, what? That's the best place to eat around here. And then if you look, there's really like 3 places to eat. And I'm like, well, okay, Subway gets better reviews. Because I am not a Subway fan. Although, I was passing by our little local Subway here, and I was sitting at a red light, and I looked over, and it said, foot-long Dorito nachos. And I was like, excuse me? Now, there is something that I might actually enjoy. I like making me a taco salad with Doritos, so I can only imagine nachos would be good, right? But, you know, I'm sure it's just the fake cheese. It's not, and fake cheese really isn't fake cheese, but, you know, processed cheese, I guess is what it's called. And that's fine. I don't mind that. It's kind of like the nachos at when you go to a ball game. Oh, no, it's not really speaking of ball games, but speaking of going to places, we're going on December 4th. Brian Regan is a comedian that we just love, and he's going to be in Houston on December 4th. So we are going, and my gosh, it's expensive. And I told Max, I said, okay, this is going to be Christmas gifts because it's bloody expensive. But if you've never heard of Brian Regan, I suggest you look for him maybe on YouTube, you know. He is hilarious. If you like clean humor, and he is clean, you could take your kids to go see him. They might not understand the jokes, but you would be perfectly fine taking them. He is hilarious, absolutely hilarious. Now, I haven't seen him since, I don't know, 2009, something like that. So it's been a day. I'm sure he's got new material, so I hope it's still funny. But yeah, he is a funny guy. You know, I love humor. I love all kinds of comedians, but I just don't really care for the vulgar ones. It's just, you know, it's me. I don't know. I mean, sometimes it can be funny, but then sometimes it's like, okay, this is just gross, you know, and it makes me feel uncomfortable. Not that I'm a prude or anything like that, mind you, but I don't know. But I do prefer clean comedy. So do y'all go see comedy shows? We used to have a couple of comedy clubs near us. I don't know. I know one of them is gone. I don't know if both of them are gone now, though. But it used to be a fun thing to do, you know, for like a date night or something. They'd have 2 different shows. And it's pretty good. It's fun. Something different, you know. But, you know, now you can watch a lot of Netflix specials of comedy shows. Oh, you know what? Didn't Brian Regan, now that I'm wondering, I'm thinking I thought Brian Regan might have had a Netflix special several years ago that I watched. I think. Could be wrong, though. All right, 3. I like this little house. I don't know where I'm going to put it, but I like it. I've got another one that I don't think it's made for Christmas, but it's like farmhouse home or something like that. It just looks like Christmas to me. And I think it's because, you know, it's got deer, but to me they look like reindeer. They're not, but I don't know. I was going to do that one. Then I was like, no, that just looks like Christmas to me. So then I also thought about doing my placard, that the hanging wall plaque for, I've got one that says craft room, and then I have utility room. I thought I'd already done that. I had not, because I really would like to hang that in my utility room. But I decided to do this instead. I think next I'll do the laundry room, though. Yeah, I'm really just enjoying these, I don't know, these little off the canvas things. And I've got a bunch, and they're not all Diamond Art Club. Some of them I bought years ago. Oh, I guess from Amazon. I've only bought from Temu like once or twice, and not diamond painting related. And I think I just bought from them once. That's what it was, because I swear within 5 minutes of placing my order, you have to give them your email address, I started getting the most outlandish emails. I mean, like, I had never gotten porn emails before. And I mean, it's just like, okay, this is just too coincidental to me. So I was like, nope, I deleted the app, canceled it and everything. I was like, no, thank you. And then, you know, it's like, I felt like everything was just cheap crap, you know? It was just a copy of something else. And it's just disposable, you know? But the problem is it's disposable. Yeah, you just don't think, and you're like, I only paid $2.99 for it. Just throw it in the trash. And I get that, but, you know, I'm not a, you know, a ground tree hugger, ground whatever you call it, whatever you say. I don't know. But, I mean, it's like, why are we putting all this stuff in the landfill, you know? And I know diamond painting is a lot of waste, but I'm talking about like textiles, because, you know, these textiles are not made with cotton or wool or, you know, silk, you know, or natural fibers. They're made with polyester and these things, and they don't really break down. And so the landfills are just getting full and full of things. And when I you know, Amazon plays a big role in that too. But, you know, when I was growing up, well, first of all, we didn't have a lot of money when I was growing up at all. But no one in my neighborhood did, so, you know, we were all the same. But, you know, you had, you know, 5 days worth of school clothes and maybe 2 or 3, I would say, church clothes. And those never got worn to school, you know. And you never wore church clothes to, I mean, school clothes to church either. So you had that, and then you had your play clothes, which sometimes were, you know, something like pants that you outgrew that were too short and they just got cut off, but, you know, just play clothes. And that was it. I mean, houses didn't have huge walk-in closets. That would have been considered a waste of space. I mean, the house I grew up in was built in the 30s, and it just had we would call them coat closets now. A place to hang your coat as you come in the door. And back then, they were considered your closet. And believe it or not, all our clothes fit because, like I said, we didn't have that many clothes. Now, it's like, and I'm just as guilty as anyone else, okay? I'm not saying that. I've got a walk-in closet, albeit a smaller one than I'm used to. But when you consider how much clothes I got rid of and how much I still have, excuse me, I don't need all those clothes. I do not. And I try to buy, you know, clothes that are 100% cotton. Just because, I mean, I like it better. But it's not that, I mean, it's kind of hard to find. But, you know, and so many people will, because Amazon's got that thing, you know, try before you buy. So you can try it. If you don't like it, you can send it back. But I don't know that they actually, like, put it back in their store, you know, or if it ends up in a landfill somewhere. And that just seems so wasteful to me. So wasteful to me. So I don't know. I don't even know how I got off on that tangent. But yeah, I mean, I do like to recycle. And of course, people tell me, oh, well, you know, your recycling is going into the ocean, which I don't think it is here, but, you know, it's just going into a landfill or something. And I'm like, you know what? I do the right thing. I can't be held responsible if somebody else doesn't, you know. I pay for recycling, you know. Am I going to get in my car and follow the recycling truck around to make sure? No, I'm not. And a lot of times they'll tell you if they, you know, look in there and they see a bunch of stuff that's not recyclable, they just automatically send the whole truck to the landfill. Well, again, you know, I got to do my part. So I do my part. I cannot police, nor do I want to, police everybody else to make sure they're doing their part. You know, just do what's right. So, but, you know, they don't recycle clothes and stuff. So I do think there are some places that do, but like I said, I don't know if they just end up I don't know what they do with them, to be real honest with you. If you know, let me know. Let me know down below. I mean, I would imagine it probably varies from state to state. I think it's, no, when I say funny, I mean odd, not Not like funny ha-ha, but, you know, I remember when grocery bags were paper. And I mean, I came from a family. I mean, my grandparents, well, most of us knew people from the Depression. Well, my grandparents were actually alive for the Depression. So, I mean, my grandmother saved bread wrappers. She saved the chicken pot pies used to come in a little aluminum foil thingy, and she'd save those. She'd save, you know, we had TV dinners, she'd save those, and we would play with them as kids. I mean, we would make stuff out of them. But like the paper bags that groceries came in, those got reused. All my school books were covered in paper bags from the grocery store. You just saved them. I mean, you saved all of these bags. My grandmother didn't throw away bread bags because she would use it to pack a lunch in, you know, I mean, just all of that. And then I remember when plastic came out because it was going to save the trees, you know. So then all this plastic came out. And now they finally realized, well, you know, trees are a renewable resource. And they grow pretty quickly. And plastic is just clogging up the works, man. It's just ruining everything. So I've heard places are coming back with paper bags, which I think is amazing. I mean, you can use them for so many things. Kids' crafts. I mean, I remember peeling them, you know, taking them apart so they'd be flat and taping them down to the table so the kids could use them to do crafts on. You know, it's just so many things. But now it's like, no, plastic is bad. And I'm like, I never liked it anyways. You know, I do keep some in my pantry because, well, sometimes you need a bag or something, but they're crappy. You know, they're real thin. I don't like them. I don't want to go by the way of a lot of places where you can only use, you know, you have to bring your own bag. I mean, I was at PetSmart one time and I had bought a bunch of stuff, right? I mean, it was like $240 worth of stuff. So it was a bunch of stuff. And go to check out and she was like, do you want a bag? And I was like, well, yeah. I mean, how am I going to carry it out to my car? And she goes, okay, well, we charge 10 cents. I was like, excuse me? She goes, yeah, we charge for bags now. And I said, okay, let me get this straight. Just bought all of this stuff that I can't possibly carry. And now you're telling me that it's going to cost me 10 cents. Well, actually, it'd been 20 cents because I needed 2 bags. And I was like, you know what? Just no, forget about it. And I'm thinking, if you're going to, instead of doing that, just add it into the cost of, put a penny on everything you've got in your store, you know? And I get they're trying to manipulate, you know, and force us to bring our own. And I'm like, I don't like being manipulated, first of all. That's not cool at all. And and these weren't like reusable bags. I mean, yes, you could reuse them, but they're like at the grocery store, just the kind that, you know, they're made to be single use. And it's like, well, why don't you make better ones? You know? And then I might go, hey, you know, at least it's a bag I can use for other things, like traveling or something like that. Because I just don't carry those bags in my car. And there wasn't a sign, you know, as you came in or anything like that. You didn't know it until you went to pay. And yes, it was 20 cents, but that wasn't the point. And then I went back with Max, and because he only buys like 1 or 2 things, so he'll just carry it out. It's no big deal. But when we went back, and they they quit doing that. They don't even ask you, they just give you a bag. Sometimes he'll say, no bag, please. But it's like, I mean, they should be able to have some discernment, right? Like, you know, you got 20 items. You can't give me a bag. I don't understand. So, the next thing you know, you'll be going, well, if you want a receipt, that's going to cost you money. because, you know, that is paper. But I don't know. The older I get, the less understanding I become. Maybe it's just the less I can understand. My brain just doesn't comprehend some things, maybe. I don't know. I just don't like someone trying to prove a point and doing so by charging me. Like, I don't smoke. I did. I mean, once upon a time I did, but I haven't smoked in... I have not smoked in 15, 20 years, something like that. So it's been a day or two. But, you know, it's like, oh, we'll just raise the taxes. People can't afford to smoke. And I'm like, get what you're doing. But the thing is like, you're not addressing the problem. The problem is it's addictive. And there's so many other things you could do to help that wouldn't turn people into criminals. But man, the cost of cigarettes now, and it's like, how much tax is that? Well, you know, the thing about, here I go, getting on my soapbox. The thing about taxes is, I don't care what the tax is on, they're going to find a way to use that tax and become dependent. And when I say they, the government finds a way to use that tax. And it's not like they go one day, oh, look, all these people have quit smoking. So, you know, our instances of lung cancer have gone down, because that was the whole thing. You know, we're having to treat these people. They don't have insurance. So, you know, we're going to raise the prices, right? Well, it's not like they're ever going to go, oh, okay, well, you know, we've cut it drastically. We don't need this tax money, or we don't need as much tax money. So we're going to lower the taxes. No, they're not. They're going to use it for something else until eventually they're like, well, now we have to tax or something else. We have to move on to something else. And I don't know. It just seems like, oh, here it is. It just seems like, I don't know. It seems like there should be a better way. I'm not saying I know what it is, but I don't know. A lot of things are addictive. And I remember, I mean, even when I smoked, if you said, do you think cigarettes are addictive? I'd say, hell yeah, they are. You know, there was a lot of people, smokers, that were in denial, like, it's not addictive. Well, yeah, it is. You know, or I could quit anytime, but not right now, you know. Yeah, my grandfather did, though. He did quit. But, you know, he said they were addictive. But he said, and I think men have better willpower than women. He just, like, I'll never forget it, his Winston cigarettes. And they were in his shirt pocket, the ones that were open. He just did like that and threw them in the trash. And he said, this is not going to be bigger than me. And he quit smoking. Never smoked again. And my poor grandmother, who lived to be 92, by the way, she just never did quit smoking. You know, and I'll never forget when she was in the hospital. She never got out of the hospital the last time she went. And she was like, can I be wheeled down so I can smoke a cigarette? I'd really like a cigarette. And her doctor was like, no, that's bad. That's bad for you. And I'm like, she's 92 years old. She's outlived her husband. She's outlived all her siblings. You know, I mean, she's even outlived a kid. You know, at 92, what are you saying? You know, is she going to take 30 seconds off her life? I mean, I don't know. So, but she would lay on that hospital bed and she'd say, I wish I had a cigarette that long that I could smoke from this bed and the end of it be out the window. So I was like, well, then you'd still have to exhale. But, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I see both sides to it all, you know. Trying to make a deterrent. But, I don't know. And you also have people trying to control everybody. I don't know, y'all. I don't know. I'm not Solomon. All right, so I finished this part. Why are you staring at me barking? It's not time for anything. So I finished that part. Let's see. How long have I been going? Let's see here. Oh, gosh. Ouch. Oh. Hang on. I'm trying to stand up to look at this. And, okay, 55 minutes. Let's work on... I'm not going to start working on that one yet. Or should I? Yeah, maybe I will. But I'm going to give you an idea of how it's going to look. See, this will go in here like that. So... yeah, I think that's going to look really cute, honestly. But I think I will work on the back here. I think I will. I may not, you might not want to hang out with me the whole time, and I understand that. Alrighty then. Let's see. We have 2 and 5. Gotta be careful I don't knock all these over. 11, 18. See, that one's gonna... yeah. 10, here's 2. Okay. Oh, this is also, I should tell you, this is a Muni Made tray, and this pen came from Leopard Leatherworks. This Muni Made tray was actually part of a kit because I had ordered the premium kit. And with the premium kit, you get a matching tray. I will say that I don't have one here. I don't know where I put them, but I ordered 2 larger kits, and it came, and I ordered the tray, and the trays were huge. So just know that if you order a large kit, you're going to me, this is a great size. It's a little smaller than my other ones, but it's not bad. So I do like it. But just be aware of that, because I was not aware of that. But it's cool because, you know, you'll get a color-coordinated tray. Now, you can get on her waiting list and do custom trays as well. I haven't done that. Because honestly, I don't know what I want. They're like, well, what do you want for this color? It's like, just show me something and I'll tell you if I want it or not. You know? Some people, a lot of y'all are so creative, and you can come up with your own. It's like, nope, I am not good at this. So I hope I'm in. God, wouldn't that be terrible if I wasn't in frame? I know some of you actually do watch, and which is great, because y'all are the ones going, you made a mistake. Oh, geez. I get to go fix it. But I never watch, so I always just assume nobody else does either, but people do. And I'm thankful for it. I really am. So I do want you to tell me down below, what are you up to? Did you have a good Easter? Did you celebrate Easter? Or did you just have a great weekend? I hope that you did. If you didn't, you know, if you're feeling kind of bummed or your weekend was sucky, I'm so sorry. But there is one thing I know so far, in my 61 and a half years of being alive, that it will get better. It will pass. And your track record of getting through it is 100%. So, you know, I hope that I can bring you a little solace or, I don't know, entertainment. I don't know if I'm entertaining or not, but, you know, some days just aren't great. And sometimes there's no particular reason, you know, it's not like, oh, well, you know, my car died or, you know, no. Sometimes it's just, you're like, I don't know why I feel this way. I just do. Sometimes I just do. I mean, and it's funny because if you say you're feeling kind of blue, No one said, you know, people will ask you, oh, no, well, what's wrong? What's wrong? What's the matter? And, you know, if you say, I am feeling good today, I am really happy, people are like, oh, okay, great. You know, like, why? Why are you happy? You know, it's just another emotion, right? And I don't know that we can be happy all the time. I think, you know, a lot of us come across as happy all the time. I mean, I don't think you want to hear me go, oh, poor me, you know, I'm feeling blue. Nothing's the matter, you know. But, you know, I do take medication for depression and anxiety. But I'm more of the type that, you know, I'll just sit back and wait for it to pass without talking to anybody. Don't think that's great advice, to be honest with you. I'm not giving you advice, honestly. I'm just telling you, don't follow my lead. Because I think it's best if you do talk to somebody, and probably somebody that isn't going to have, you know, who's going to be objective. That's the word I'm looking for. You know, because, I mean, I don't like talking to my kids about stuff like that because I don't want them to worry, right? I mean, it's like, of course I probably wouldn't, but I mean, I just don't want them to worry. I don't want to worry anybody. And although I don't feel that way about my kids, you know, I feel like, why don't you let me know? You know, let me know. And I feel that way because sometimes I think, well, maybe, you know, I've got life experiences that you're not used to, you know. Maybe I can say, hey, I know exactly what you're going through. Here's what happened and blah, 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 you know, because that does help too. It does help if you find out, because a lot of times you think you're really going through something all alone, and then you find out, oh, no, 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 no. There are other people who have been through the same thing and totally understand what you're saying. And that is probably the best therapy ever, because you don't feel so alone. I mean, at least that is for me. You know, you don't feel so alone. You're like somebody else knows exactly what I'm talking about. Because some things, unless you've been through it, you can imagine, you know, how devastating it must be, but you don't know it firsthand. You know, you just can't imagine. Yeah. So, yeah, then so therein lies the rub. So, you know, sometimes because it's happened to me, you know, I've heard somebody talk and I'm like, oh my gosh, I have got so much in common with this person that I had no idea. And you want to go, me too, you know, me too, gosh, you know. And then you automatically, you're like, well, you are now my new bestest friend, you know. But it is helpful. I can see it on other people's faces when I go, yeah, I do understand. I have been right there in your place. And it's like, really? Yeah. So you know what it's like. Yeah, I know exactly what it's like. So that's one good reason to talk it out. But, and if, you know, and if it's somebody who shares a story with me and I can relate and I can help or at least offer some experience, you know, absolutely I will tell you my story. Absolutely. But it's not something that I go around and just talk about because I don't know. I just don't. I'm just not one of, I just don't. I'm not, like I said, I'm happy to relate my experience, strength, and hope, but, you know, not to just the guy on the corner, right? Unless he needs it. So anyway. And I've been talking to my dad, and we're supposed to get together this week. This is going to be tricky because it's supposed to rain, and well, today was really bad weather, so he couldn't come today. And tomorrow I'm getting my golf cart. I don't know when. And then we got to take Maggie to the vet, and the cleaning ladies come. So tomorrow is not a good day. Wednesday, I'm hoping to go live. I didn't go live last Wednesday. So that's really not going to work. And then Friday, we have the landscaper coming out to talk to us about what we can do about our yard. And so that's Friday, yeah. So that just leaves really Thursday. And he wants to come out here this time, which I hate because it's far, but it's okay. He wants to come out here, and I'd love for him to see my house, so that's okay. But not if it's raining, you know, not if it's raining. But I'm going to see him next week. Me and Darla are going to go see him together. That's going to be fun. So, yeah. But, so I don't know. I'll talk to him this evening and see if Thursday would work for him. I want to fix him a chocolate meringue pie because that's his favorite pie. And I want to make him one because that's also my favorite pie. And then he can just take it home. You know, all the leftovers. If there is leftovers, because Max likes chocolate pie too. So, but, yeah. So we'll see. I don't know, you know. Like right now, well, I see some clouds, but it's mostly blue sky. But this morning did not look like that. I mean, we didn't get it. It's just south of us got hail and high winds and all of that. Fortunately, we did not. But we got severe rain, and then my daughter was taking like I said, my son-in-law to the airport, and it was high water there, and so, yeah. And he, you know, he's only got one eye, so his depth perception is off, and his peripheral is really off. And driving on the freeway, and, you know, he's 87. He'll be 88 in July. Reflexes aren't what they used to be. So, yeah, I do worry. And then... what are they barking at? They don't even know what they're barking at. You know, it's the traffic, you know, stop and go traffic. And, you know, sometimes those cars stop fast, you know. And, yeah, I don't know. But, you know, I had told him I really didn't think he should be driving that far. I didn't think it was safe and blah, 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 blah. And he said, please don't take my driving away from me. It's really all I got left. And I was like, I get it. I get it. You know, and I said, well, it's not that I'm trying to control you. I just found you. I don't want to lose you. And he said, well, we can't live like that. You know, we can't live like, well, something could happen. I was like, well, I know this. But I want to wrap you in bubble wrap, you see. But anyway, just kind of got lost in my own little head there. I was like, what am I doing? Am I talking or not? Nope, I was not. I don't know what they're barking at. I mean, I can see into the driveway from here, and there is nothing to bark at. But once they get started, they have a hard time shutting up. Basically, you have to go, shut up! And they look at you like, thank goodness, we were getting tired of barking. But anyway, so I hope he gets to come out, and, you know, his brother, which I knew that his brother was in an assisted living over here, just literally just down the street. And I knew that before I knew him because, well, I did Ancestry, you know, and you can find all kinds of stuff. And so he's been down this way before. So it's like, well, you know, he's like, well, this place used to be good. And one of them I was like, yep, that's walking distance from my house. But he also wants to ride in my new golf cart. And I was like, okay. So, yeah. And I do want him to see my house, you know. I do. And he really enjoys Max, so. I do. I just will have to put some heavy prayers on him. Make sure nothing happens to him. So anyway. Oh, did I tell you I had 2 recalls on my new car, and got those. I dreaded taking it in because the sales experience was atrocious. So I was not looking forward to taking my vehicle in. It was a great experience. They fixed it right away, and although I need to find out because they had to do something with the screen, you know, what has the nav system and everything on it, and I noticed the other day that it looks like it's got air bubbles, like maybe there's something you're supposed to peel off, but there's nothing there to peel off that I can see. And so I don't know. It's like, is something wrong with it? You know, I don't know. So maybe I'll take it in, maybe I won't. I don't enjoy that kind of thing at all. At all. But it's funny because the sales department, you know, they're like, oh, yeah, we're going to send you an email, you know, to give your opinion and blah, blah, blah. You know what? They never did. They never, ever, ever sent me a questionnaire because they knew they didn't want to hear from me. No, send her one. So, but I made sure on the survey they sent for service, I said, the service department redeemed their sales department because their sales department was horrible. So, I don't know. I just think it's odd that I never got a survey. I heard a dog barking outside and I looked down and all 3 of mine are in here. So I'm like, where's that dog coming from? So yeah, they did good. They did good. They even washed my car. And it was ready. You know, I guess he was giving me worst case scenario. Because he was like, well, it's about an hour and a half for this, an hour and a half for that. So that's 3 hours, right? They were done with it being washed and everything in 2. So, yeah. Worked out wonderful. Made me like my car a little bit more. But, yeah. Let's see, what else? I swear I heard a golf cart out there. I'm pretty excited about it. I don't know why. I mean, Max is like, he doesn't really get it, you know. He's like, we can drive anywhere you want to go in a golf cart. We can drive in a car. And I was like, but it won't be as much fun, you know. And he's like, sure it will. And I'm like, no. So, but I have a feeling he's going to like it too. get off of there. Well, I think I'm going to finish these here, these number 3s. And then, should I take a break? I wish you could answer me. I don't know if I should take a break or continue with the WIP and chat until I get done. I mean, I know when I am diamond painting, I prefer long WIP and chats. But some of you may not. And I'm never really quite sure. It seemed like I did ask once a long time ago, back when I first did started my channel, which was back in June, y'all. I'm coming up on a year. And I think most people said they did appreciate longer ones. So maybe we'll keep going. My problem is I feel like I'm boring you to death, you know. And I don't want to do that. I really live a very uneventful life. I mean, some people talk about, you know, the kids in school, and boy, when my kids were in school, I definitely have enough to talk about, but they're not. So, you know, let's see, I guess my youngest son is going the end of May to Brazil for a mission trip. And of course, I am worried to death, but, you know, I'm glad he's doing it, but at the same time, I'm nervous as well. It's a 10-hour flight, 10.5-hour flight, I think he said. And so, but he said, you know, he's going with the church group, so they're all sitting together, so that's good. But I was like, dude, good thing you're young, because that's a long flight, and you know, I can't sleep. Maybe he can. I don't think so. He's very similar to me when it comes to sleep. You know, everything has to line up just right. And so I don't think he'll be able to sleep. And he said, well, he's just going to bring some headphones and some video games. So I don't know what airline or anything yet. But I asked him to give me all the information so I could put it in my flight tracker, so I can see when he takes off. I can see where he is at all times. See when he lands, and all of that good stuff. Because yes, I am one of those moms. Yes, he is 34 years old. 34? Yeah. Yep, he was born in 91. So yep, he's 34. So yeah, I am one of those moms, but what can I say? You know, I've tried in the past to not be one of those moms, and it's just who I am. So it is just who I am. And I think they're starting to get used to it now. And I say, look, when I'm dead and gone, you won't have me to worry. You don't have to worry about me being worried about you. So, but until then, I'm going to worry. And I get it. You know, I get it. My grandmother, I talked to her every day. You know, she would, you know, when I lived alone, she'd call me every evening. Leanne, did you lock your doors or your windows locked? I was like, man, I haven't gone out my windows. Well, I just want to make sure they're locked, you know? Okay. And I'd always be like, yes, Nanny, they are. Yes, I know. You know, I'm 20 years old. I know how to do this. And yeah, that came back on me, didn't it? But, you know, I didn't realize until, you know. And you don't, I mean, it's not even like when they're at home, you know they're at home. You know, I mean, you know these things. Yes, you still worry while they're out, but as soon as they get home, you're like, okay, all's good. Good night. I can go to sleep now. But when they don't live with you anymore, especially with Jacob, because he's single. So if I don't hear from him, my first thought is he's just busy. You know, he's doing something. And then my second thought is, well, what if he slipped in the shower and fell and hit his head? No one would know. And if he like broke his neck, he would just be laying there because nobody would know. He wouldn't have his phone because, well, he was in the shower. And so then I'm like, okay, y'all, yeah, that's probably not what happened. But what if it was? Or maybe he went out, you know, and someone mugged him, or he crashed somewhere, or, you know, I go through all of these scenarios. And so, well, when he lived around the corner from us, I mean, I could see his car, his truck pass by, and I'm like, oh, there's Jacob. Okay, you know, I know he's, at this moment, he is alive and he is well. He's in his truck. He's going somewhere or he's coming home. It's all good. But especially now, you know, where I can't just drive by his house. I mean, I have to, you know, intentionally go there. I can't just walk to the corner and look and see if his truck's there. But, you know, I do worry, and I think he's kind of gotten used to it. Now, with Max and Jennifer, my son and my other son and daughter, well, they're married, you know, they have partners, and so if something happened to them, I would know. You know, someone would let me know. So I feel good about that. Now, when Max did not have anyone, I worried because, you know, he's type 1 diabetic, and it's like something really could go wrong, right? But now that, you know, he's got Jenny, I am perfectly fine. And then, of course, Jennifer's got Matthew. So something happened, someone's going to let me know. And someone lives with them, you know, so, yeah. So that's better. But, yeah. But I'm one of those moms. Now, I was not a helicopter mom. I haven't been one of those moms. I didn't feel like I needed to be wherever they were, hovering around them. I was not. Yeah, I don't know. I worry. You know, I know I shouldn't. I know a lot of parents don't. Or not like I do anyway, you know. I mean, I know people that, you know, give their 4-year-old a 4-wheeler and say, go have fun, you know, or a mini bike or something. And it's like, oh, they never would do that. Although I've ridden a mini bike when I was like 5. But it was with my aunt and uncle, you know. So, in the country. So, I'm not one to just go, be free. But I remember when Max Jr. graduated, we were going to South Padre Island, and it's like, well, would you like to bring, his good friend at the time was Josh. I was like, would you like to bring Josh with you? And he was like, yeah, let me see if he can go. So he could. So I was like, great, you know, gives Max someone to hang out with. It's his graduation party. And, well, his mother dropped him off. And she was like, okay, do you have my number? All right, where are y'all going? Where are y'all staying? And she was writing it all down. And, you know, well, he's never been away from home before. He's 18, mind you. He's never been away from home before. And then she starts crying, you know. And she's like not wanting to leave him. And I'm like, what have I gotten myself into? Oh, my gosh. I was like, okay. It's like, he will be fine. He will be fine. And he was, except he got sunburn, which was my fault, of course, because, you know, he never left the house. And I was like, I mean, first thing he did when they got, because we rented a condo, went to their room, is he shut all the blinds and plugged in the, I don't know, was it Xbox back then? Or I don't remember. But anyway, plugged in their video games, and it was like they had planned not to come out. It was like, we are in a, well, Max wanted to go, go to the beach, we were going to a water park. I mean, he wanted to do all those things, but this kid did not. And I was like, turn the video game off. Because here's my deal. If you're a kid and I'm watching you or responsible for you, then I'm going to talk to you like you're my kid. So I was like, turn the video games off. I went in there and opened up the blinds, and he was like, oh. And I was like, come on, we're going down to the beach. And it wasn't the middle of the day. It was like, I don't know, 4 p.m. And it was like, we went down to the beach just digging around, looking for crabs and stuff like that. And I swear to God, the boy got burnt. I'm like, how did this happen? Usually you don't get burnt at that time. And of course he was like, see, I told you I was going to get sunburned. And I was like, oh, for God's sakes, did you not bring any sunscreen or anything? No, because I wasn't planning on going outside. I'm like, dude, we're going to the beach. We're going to a water park. You could have stayed home and played video games, Oh, it was just terrible. And then even at the water park, I finally told Max, because I think Max felt bad, because he didn't want to do anything. Like, we got to the water park, and he just sat with a towel covering his whole body. He had long sleeves on. I mean, that's sitting under an umbrella, and the whole thing. And so Max was like over there with him, and I said, son, come here. He came over to me, and I said, you want to go ride some of these water coasters with me? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, let him do whatever it is he wants to do. This is your trip. Let's go have fun. So he was like, okay. So we did, but I was like, good Lord, should have never done that. Should have never brought that boy. We still talk about him. I was like, wonder whatever happened to him. Wonder what what did he end up doing after high school? And nobody knows. They were like, I don't know. I really don't think him and Max were good of friends after that trip anyways. But it was a graduation trip, so. But yeah, nobody knows what happened. So I don't know. He's probably some kind of genius scientist or something. I don't know. For all I know, that's what he is. I keep hearing a dog outside. All 3 of mine are in here. We were going to go eat Mexican food for dinner, but the place we wanted to go is closed on Mondays. It's like, dagnabbit. Oh, I guess I should also say that, hang on, I got a scratch. This requires me to move my injured shoulder. Oh, God. Okay. The Pope passed away today. He worked up until the very end. He gave the Easter blessing. He had visitors, on the day before. So, yeah, so I am not Catholic, but I am a human, and I am a Christian. So my sympathies are especially with the Catholics, because I know he's important to the world, but I know he's very important to the Catholics. So, which reminds me, I need to contact my sister, because she is Catholic. But I wonder who the new Pope is going to be. But I think, one thing I notice about popes is I think they teach us how to die, if that makes any sense. They teach us how to, I don't know. Like I said, he still gave the Easter blessing. He, went to a prison, and, it's, he still had time to meet with people, even though he was gravely ill. I know he met briefly with Vice President Vance, and he said, you know, he was obviously very, very ill, which of course, if you've ever been around someone who was dying, I mean, you know they are very, very ill. So I'm glad he didn't die in the hospital, because I think that's, even though they got it set up really nice, you know, he was able to give a blessing to the people before. So that's very awesome. And yeah, I mean, nobody wants anybody to die, mind you, but I think what a fitting time, you know? What a fitting time. So anyway, you know, we have that Catholic church right behind us. And I don't know, this morning, about 10, I would say, 10 a.m., they had one of those big old private buses came and picked up some people and then left. And I was like, I wonder where they're going. You know, I wonder if they're, you know, going to the Vatican. I don't know. Can't imagine where they'd be going, you know, with that many people. But it's like a charter bus, so I don't know where they were going. They were busy, busy, busy yesterday. I know that in the Christian religion, Easter is the holiest day. And I get, oh, sorry, I bumped you again. And I, you know, understand why. But I don't know, I always kind of felt like Christmas was to me. But I don't know, I guess, you know, I've heard it explained and I understand it, you know, but it's like, but he had to be born first, you know, that's pretty important stuff. So maybe Christmas is the close second. I don't know. So one of my favorite YouTubers, I can't remember his last name. Well, he's from, he's got a, you know, his parents, I think, live in Amsterdam, I think. He's from the Netherlands. And, but he bought two stone cottages in the Italian Alps. And they're old, of course, and he's been restoring them, and he is really good at it. I mean, he's like a perfectionist. It's just amazing. Martin Douliard, or I don't know. Well, I knew it was going to happen. He hurt his back, so he's never been to the doctor there in Italy before. And he kind of, I mean, it's not the closest town to him is not very big. Oh, God, my shoulder. So he was going to get an MRI, but he said he's going to, instead of doing weekly videos, he's going to have to cut it back for right now to every 2 weeks. And, you know, he's one of those channels that I'm like, oh, today's Sunday. And so last night I was like, oh, today's Sunday. And then I was like, oh, no, I remember now. And I hope, you know, I have a lot of YouTubers like that I'm like, please don't ever quit, because I'm invested. You know, I must always know what your life is up to, you know. Like, please don't ever quit YouTube. And then I wonder, you know, it's like, is YouTube forever? You know? I mean, yeah. I mean, if I live to be 90, will I be on YouTube the whole time? I don't know. And then what happens? You know, I always wonder stuff like that. Because, like, not for me, because I don't, you know, I don't get paid from YouTube. I don't get any money, except unless someone's a member. And even then, it's very little. And I made it that way on purpose. I don't want it to cost a lot of money to be a member. But anyway, it's neither here nor there. No one's gonna, you know, like I said, I wouldn't even call myself small beans or small potatoes. I'm much more smaller than that. But, you know, when will I decide, I don't want to do this anymore? And will I decide that? I don't know, because talking to y'all is therapy for me. It really is. It really, really is. And I know it doesn't make sense, because all I'm doing is sitting here talking to myself, really. That's all I'm doing, but I'm imagining y'all being there. I just wish you could talk back to me. Yeah, I really do. I wish you could go, Leanne, we get you. We understand. Or Leanne, what was wrong with you? Did anyone ever get you checked out? You know, I mean, yeah, but anyway, but I do wonder about that. And I mean, like one of the couples that I follow, they're young, and they're building, you know, Simple Living Alaska. I don't know if any of y'all follow them, but yeah, they've got quite the homestead. And I started following them when they left Oregon to do this, you know, to do the Alaska thing. And I just love them. I mean, I don't know. I don't think either one of them had any kind of background in videography or photography. But dang, they're good, or even video editing. But they are good. I mean, like professional. But it's just them. And I have YouTube Premium, so I don't know what commercials are like. So I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm sure they've got a lot of subscribers. But they never, like, as far as I know, I mean, there's never been any, they've never said stuff like, yeah, so-and-so sent us this, and we're using it, and no, they always say, bought this, and got it on sale at Home Depot, or, you know, or whatever. They buy a lot of stuff used. They're very frugal, but, you know, it's like, I guess one day, they're not going to do this, right? I mean, I think they're a ways away from building everything they want to build on their homestead. And they go on fishing trips and hunting trips and stuff like that. And some of their videos are about that. They could also do a cooking video. And I've thought about asking, of course, you know, my comments would just get lost. So they have a lot of followers. You know, if she would ever consider doing like a cooking thing, not every week, but, you know, like she makes sourdough everything. She doesn't make any regular bread. I mean, I don't think she, well, I know she doesn't buy bread, but I think she used sourdough for everything. And it's like, would you mind doing like, okay, today we're going to make tortillas with sourdough starter, you know, or just something, you know, just do some cooking. Because, I mean, when I say they go like hunting and stuff, and they don't take like, you know, campers meals. No. They can their own food. They eat great. They eat real great. Great food, you know. They cook wherever they go. Her husband's pretty good at cooking as well. I mean, they're a team for sure. But, yeah. It's like, one of these days you're going to quit, you know, I think. And then what's going to happen? Is YouTube going to even, you know, because things seem to cycle. Now, I know YouTube's been around for a long time, but I think during COVID, it really got a lot of people. And it's when it got me for sure. Because I always thought, well, you know, you only watched YouTube videos if you're trying to learn how to do something, which is what I did when I first started diamond painting. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. And so I did some, you know, how to diamond paint. And, but then I ended up going, you know, finding other channels. And I was like, well, that's interesting. I follow Sean James, you know, in Alaska. I mean, not Alaska, Canada. Yeah, and so it just kept growing from there. And then, you know, quickly I got YouTube Premium because I'm like, I hate commercials. Absolutely hate commercials. And so I didn't want to watch commercials. I got rid of Hulu and Netflix because it was like, I'd rather my money go to these creators who are just, you know, they're not professionals. They're not actors. They're not, you know, trying to, and you can pick and choose what creators you want to watch. So, you know, if you go, well, this doesn't interest me, then I don't watch it. Whereas, like, you might go, oh, I really want to see this movie. I really want to watch this, you know, this sitcom or this drama or whatever. And then next thing you know, you're like, oh my gosh, you know, I'm in the middle of a political, you know, narrative and I don't want to be there. I just want something to, I don't know, ease my mind, just relax my brain. And I have discovered that with YouTube. So I was like, I'd much rather support those people. And so, you know, I have some that I'm a Patreon. If they have channel memberships on YouTube, I will do that. Some of them got, you know, were a little too expensive for me. And it was like, I'm not saying it's not worth it. It is. It's just, for me, it was too expensive. I mean, you know, maybe if you only support one channel, you know, then $10 a month isn't nothing. But, you know, if you're not careful, you'll end up spending $100 a month just on channel memberships or Patreons. And again, not saying that those people aren't worth it. They are. But, you know, I have to get a little picky, I guess. So, yeah. But it, you know, it also helps if you just watch and like their videos. Sean James there for a little bit. He kind of got sidetracked, you know. Like, I don't know what's happened here, but yeah. And at first he wouldn't do any, you know, reviews and stuff. But now he's got, and I get it, you know, he's trying to save for his family, his livelihood. I get that, you know. I get why. But, you know, after a while you're like, okay, you really didn't have a video. You know, you really haven't said anything in this video that was of any worthwhile, but except to pitch this brand. It's like, which is essentially a commercial. I mean, you post a 9-minute video and 7 minutes of it is, you know, talking about what someone sent you, you know, a company sent you. I don't know. I don't know why I got off on that. But I still watch them. But if I start to see, okay, this is just a commercial, then I'll just switch over to something else. So, and I don't know. I guess I should watch a YouTube video on how to do YouTube videos, but, you know, I don't know how to look at analytics, you know, on YouTube Studio. Like, I don't know how, like, they give you, you know, impression rate, click-through rate. And I'm like, what is that? I do not know. But what I would like to be able to know is how many people, you know, give thumbs up or thumbs down. Thumbs down are just important to me because if I'm losing subscribers, usually people give you a thumbs down, and I'd like to know, okay, was this video was boring? I would hate to think people would just give a thumbs down just because they thought it was boring, but, you know, but yeah, I mean, it can help, I think. Let me know what kind of videos are more popular or that people want to see. But I don't know how to get over there. So I think I need to watch a YouTube video on how to do that. because I don't know what I'm doing on there. I really don't. And some stuff I just don't understand, you know? It's like, I don't know what that means. Like, one thing is allow people to remix your video, and I'm like, what does that mean? So I always say no, because I'm always afraid someone will, you know, like, look what she said, it was so stupid, and they'll take it and, you know, remember that lady about the fire? She thought someone was barbecuing, and then they remixed all of that into satire. And I was like, I don't want that. Or do I? I don't know. I don't know. So, I mean, yeah. But I don't want to get too technical, you know, because I do this for fun. I don't feel like I'm creating any kind of great content that there's not you know, dozens and dozens, if not hundreds of people that do it better. And I'm not, of course I want to get better, but I also want to remain true to me, you know. I want that if you ever do meet me in person, you'll go, wow, you're just exactly, you know, because that's just who I am. And I've tried in different times in my life, you know, from a teenager on, you know, well, maybe I'll try to be quieter. Maybe I'll try to speak more. Maybe, you know, maybe I'll be louder. Maybe, you know, I'll try all that. And it's like, it's not me, you know, it's not me. I don't like it. So if I don't like it, why am I doing it for other people? So, yeah. I've often, you know, if someone's done me wrong and I'm like, well, I'm going to get them back. I'm going to do this, this, and this. And then 30 minutes later, it's like, no, I'm not. Because it's not who I am. You know, it's just not me. I'm going to make myself miserable. Attempting to make them miserable. No. I am just not capable of doing that. Why isn't that? Get on there. This one's having a little bit sticking together. Okay. So I don't know. But I would like to know, you know. And then sometimes I'll lose, you know, subscribers. Like, and I'm like, why? You know, what happened? You know, was it something I said or didn't say? I don't know. But I also know that not everyone's going to like you, and that's okay. I don't like everyone, so that's okay. And every once in a while, you know, I go through my channels, my subscriptions that I have with different channels, and I'm like, I'm not interested in that anymore. And so, you know, I unsubscribe, but I've subscribed to so many people. But, you know, sometimes you're just like, well, I don't do that anymore. Well, maybe there's people who are like, I'm a pain anymore. And I get that. So I do get that. All right, y'all. I am going to call this good for right now. I do have some more to do, but I'm getting a little tired, and it's about time for me to feed these imbeciles. So I'm going to go ahead and call it a day and try to get this up sooner rather than later. And hopefully I will see y'all on Wednesday. Although I really enjoyed doing that pop-up live on Friday, so that was kind of fun. So who knows? But anyway, I'm going to let you go for now, and I hope everybody has a good, whatever time of day you're watching this, weekend, month, maybe a year from now. I don't know. I hope that you are having a wonderful day. And thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. All right, everyone. See you on the next one. Bye. Bye.